Okay, so if you are designing on Canva and or on Procreate, then you want to do your silhouette through Photoshop. This is the way to go about that. So what you want to do is save that um, design on your computer like I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and hit File, Open, and it was that sea creature. I'm going to hit Open one more time. And so again, if you do save it, you want to make sure you save them as a transparent image. And it's important to do that if you're going to want to do with the silhouette. This one actually came with a green background and I had previously deleted. So I'm just going to delete this little portion there. So I don't want it to show. So once you're here, what I like to do is I like to duplicate the layer. See how it wasn't locked? So I can duplicate that layer. If for whatever reason it is locked, you can actually do two steps. The first step would be to save this as your artwork. Don't forget to put your file number. So in this case, I would do H12125. I just added that as my file number, my SKU number. And then I'm going to do file, save as. I'm going into desktop. Again, you want to save it wherever you keep your folders organized. It's hard to put them some on your download, some on your desktop. I actually do have them organized on my drive. I have them here, so all of mine are organized just like this. But just for training purposes, I'm going to go ahead and create a folder in here. H125 sea creatures, and then I'm going to save this as my art. Change this to save a copy actually. Change it to a PNG. And where did I leave it? Sea creatures, art, save. And then hit OK. So once I've got my art layer done, I know I can delete this. And now I'm going to work on that silhouette. Again, you just want to make sure that you hold down your control key, and then this little finger will pop up, this cursor. And so click on the little box here, and you'll notice that now you've got all of your clip art selected. At this point, what you want to do is go under Select, Modify, Expand, and a good size would be anywhere between 50 to 60. So I'm going to do 55 on this, and then I'm going to hit OK. This will give us about half an inch of that white border around. And I think that that's a good amount only because sometimes the blades tend to cut into the art work itself or the print, and you don't want that to happen. So giving it that half inch really helps. Some people do it a little thinner and you're kind of running a risk on that. So this is actually a perfect size. Once that has expanded, as you can see, all you want to do now is go under Edit, Fill, and hit black. If this is not under black, just do the drop down, select black, and then hit OK. And then at this point, you can do Control D to deselect what was previously selected. Now, notice that there's little openings here. I do not want the machine to cut these because these are too tiny and it's really only going to tear up my art. So same thing here. What we can do, and here. So what we can do here is that I'm going to grab this paintbrush and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. To make them bigger or smaller, there's two options. There's the open and close bracket on your um, keyboard, or you can right click, make sure that it's all the way 100%, and kind of play with the size this way. But you always have to kind of bring it to the side to view it. So I like to use the open and close bracket. Notice that I accidentally clicked on there and the black is not the same. It really doesn't make a huge difference because it's all black. But if you want to select the same black, hold down your Alt key. You'll get a little dropper. You'll get this when you have the brush selected. Click on the black that you want, and that's it. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start coloring the holes. This I'm going to make a little smaller just so that it connects. And then these I'm going to go ahead and um, shade in also, just because, like I said, I don't want this to be cut. I've noticed that this is pretty tight and I don't want there to be crazy cuts there. So I'm just going to fill that, and then I'll decide once I start doing the cut lines what I want to do with that portion. And then here, I missed this spot here. Okay. Overall, I think everything's pretty solid. I'm okay with making a cut here because it's a little bit bigger. So I'm okay with that. Now all I'm going to do is go File. I'm going to save a copy. And I had previously put them under this, my drive. House of Yard Cards, H125 Creatures. And then here I'm just going to do Sill. And then save. Because I already had saved my work through either Canva or Procreate, I really don't need to load my computer with another file. So I don't need to necessarily save this Photoshop version of it. So all I need is just to get my art, which I did, and my silhouette, which it's saving now. Once that's done, it's going to ask me if I want to save the Photoshop, and no, I don't. So now I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. Then I'm going to go File, Open, and I'm going to pull that template. So in my drive, I have, or in everybody's drive, if you don't have it, let me know and I'll go in and I'll put the templates there for you. But everybody should have a template for quarter sheets, half sheets, and full sheets. So this is a template. Notice that my crop marks are not marked. So it's very easy to kind of move like this crop mark without you necessarily knowing. I mean, there it's pretty visible, but something like this, it's hard to tell if they're aligned or not, even like that. So it's very important that we lock this. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure that these crop marks are properly aligned. So I'm going to click here and select these two. And then I've got this option up here. So this option here means that it'll align it vertically. So if I click on here, it's vertically aligned. Then I'm going to select these two and click this one here so it aligns it horizontally. I'm going to select these two now and click on this side so it aligns it to the right horizontally. And then I'm going to select these two and then do it to the bottom. So if I accidentally move this, let's say up to like here or something, if I select both of them and click on align to the top, there you go. If I click here, align to the right, there you go. So once those are aligned, if you are not sure if you accidentally moved one or not, just do that process just to be on the safe side, and then make sure that you have that layer locked. That way there's no mistake, there's no moving it, because all the work that you're going to be doing is going to go down the drain if those crop marks are not properly aligned, because when it cuts, it's going to cut off. So now that we're here, I personally like to work with the art being at the bottom, just because it gives me a better idea of where the cut lines would be, because sometimes we do upload a solid, not necessarily a transparent image or artwork. So I always like to have my art at the bottom. So in this case, I'm going to select my art layer, and then I'm going to go do File, Place, and I had previously saved it under House of Yard Cards. Oops. H125. And I can hold down my control key and select both of them and then hit place. Hold on. Okay, it's taking a little longer then. Okay. And then I just want to align it at the corner as much as I can. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click one more time for the sill. All right. And so now I have my silhouette in my art layer. So I'm going to drag it over to my cut layer. Once I drag that, I can then select and then go into image trace, expand, right click and ungroup them. Since they're all selected right now, go into object, compound, and release. Because I did see that there was some of these didn't just say path. Let me go back so that you can see. Some of these said compound. See here? So we want to make sure that there's no compound paths, because sometimes there's a cut line that we don't necessarily see, but it's there, and then it ruins your print. So I go into object, compound, release. I did not do it. Release. There you go. And so this white one I can delete. I don't need. Select these. I'm going to select the first one, hold down my shift key, click on the last one, and click on the actual layers to select all of them. And then I'm going to delete there as well. So then now all I have are the actual paths that I need. So you'll see that they're still in black. All I need to do is reverse them. So swap them. Just click on this arrow here, and our art should pop up just like it did there. So now that I know, I noticed that it's not exactly aligned. It's a little closer here than it is over here. I can either play with my artwork and just kind of move it a little with my arrow keys here. And I think that's good there. Okay, now I'm going to lock my art. And so then all I do is that let me look at how many paths or how many anchors there are. If I select all of them and then I go to my magnifying glass, you see how there's a ton. I can right click and simplify. And so there's now a little less anchors that I have to deal with. And I can just move this arrow to simplify a little bit more. And I think we're good there. So I'm going to start now with this one here. And the reason why I like this, if you saw the previous one, is because now you could see that it gives you a more precise cut line. And then you just go in and address it with, whatever you need to address as far as, cleaning them up. But at least you've got like that precision there. So yeah, here I don't need one. Okay. And then the star, I am good with the star. And then the crab, this is where it gets a little tricky because I don't want this. So I might just take all these off, double click, and then just kind of bring it in a little some. There you go. And so all you would do is start, addressing them, and then you can just take it from there. So assuming that we did do the cut lines for all of them, again, you would just, clean that up to where it looks like this. Assuming that you've already addressed the cut lines for all of them, and you notice how there's more, it's even here and here. This is the reason why I take my time to do the silhouette, just because I know that it's going to be a real nice clean cut. So once you do that, then you can go ahead and file, save as. I like to save my AI first. So H125 sea creatures. Okay. Now I'm going to turn off my cut lines, and I'm going to export, file, export. While that saves in the background, you can do this process. File, export as a JPEG. I'm already in that folder. Okay, export, then hit OK. Then I'm going to turn my cut lines back on. And again, you want to make sure you don't just turn this off and save as an SVG. You don't just delete this one and save it as an SVG. You need to completely delete that layer so that there's only your cut line layer and your SVG layer. So then what you would do after you've done addressing all of your cut lines, file, save as, change this into an SVG, save, okay, and then you can close it. SVG save really quickly, so it's like automatic. You can just close it. So if I go into my drive, I'm going to see that I've got the art, the sill, the AI. This is my print file, and this is my SVG. So these two I end up loading into UltraPrint. So then I would go into Google, not Gmail, Google, you know, House of Yard Cards, Drive, shared with me, House of Yard Cards. And so I would then do, assuming that I had it in the 600s, which I don't, but I would create the folder, new folder, H5, sea creatures. And then I will just file upload. And I'm going to upload my print file and my SVG. Give that a couple seconds. That's it. I'm good to go. And so then the print shop will pull those files for me. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.